Support for Queen Elizabeth II is strong, but Canadians seem unsure of the monarchy's future here. This according to a new survey by Angus Reid.
That's right. Queen Elizabeth still holds a place in Canadians' hearts, with 59% saying they will be affected when she dies. But half say Canada should not remain a monarchy after the Queen's reign ends. And the same percentage says the royal family is really no longer relevant to them personally. The results also find that support for the monarchy dips after the Queen's reign ends. While evolving morals and values could factor in, so could the line of succession, with just 34% of Canadians embracing the monarchy under King Charles. Meanwhile, the popularity of Charles' son William rivals that of Queen Elizabeth. 1,600 Canadians participated in this survey. The estimated margin of error, plus or minus 2.5 percentage points, 19 times out of 20.
Okay, let's dig into these numbers now, live with the president of Angus Reid, Shachi Kurl, joining us live via Skype with more insight into the survey. Shachi, good to have you here. The survey is interesting because the Queen seems so beloved by so many, but, you know, it falls off so drastically with Charles after her. What did the survey find in terms of, is that completely across Canada, or is there a generational change in attitudes?
There are some big generational changes, Nick. Thank you. There's a couple of things to unpack. First of all, there is the personality factor. So Her Majesty is 96 today. She's the only monarch that the vast majority of Canadians have ever known. She's been on the throne since 1952, longest reigning monarch in British history. So those things, whether or not people feel really excited about or close to the notion of the crown or the monarchy, these are things that people feel an affinity towards Her Majesty in particular. She's kind of like everyone's Canadian grandma at this stage. And there is, I think, a genuine affection for her. Nearly 2/3 of Canadians say that they view her favorably. A majority say that they will feel sad when her time on this earth comes to an end. So much of the discussion, Nick, around the future of the monarchy tends to center around personalities. So the Queen is popular, her heir and successor, Prince Charles, is not. Prince William is slightly more popular than Prince Charles. But there is another trend emerging. There is another factor emerging in these discussions now, and that really has to do with Canadians questioning the role and the relevance of the institution of the monarchy. So, for example, we saw people far more likely and far more inclined to say that they believe that the values that the monarchy upholds tend to be either outdated or sort of traditional from the past rather than modern. They don't believe that the monarchy represents modern values. A majority of Canadians say that they support what other countries such as Jamaica, Barbados, and other countries in the Caribbean have been doing in terms of signaling or totally cutting ties with the monarchy, or signaling that they might. So it's not just about the people anymore. It's not just about the members of the royal family. And bear in mind that there are some very inconvenient members of the royal family, such as Prince Andrew. But beyond that, there's also now a stage where people are saying, look, what is this institution about? What is colonialism about? And is it still something that we need or should have in this country today?
Yeah, it really shows how times have changed, you know, over the course really of the Queen's reign. I mean, it's a remarkable reign. Love her or hate her, or whether you're a monarchist or an anti-monarchist, you know, you can't knock, you know, the Queen's time and what she's tried to do with the royal family. But the royal family, you know, the sort of the little hits that it continues to take, whether it's in the media or whether it's just internal strife, right? It just, people are paying attention to that. And I think your numbers really show that the Canadians, you know, see into this family, and sometimes what they're seeing now in the future, they don't seem to like as much, is really what your numbers are telling us.
Indeed, and again, you know, Nick, there's a big change that's happened over the last 50 plus years as well, in terms of the changing face and the changing demographics of Canada. So you now have younger people in particular, but also people whose ancestry or heritage isn't necessarily tied to England or isn't necessarily tied to the Commonwealth or colonial countries, or they're coming from post-colonial countries, so countries that fought for their independence from Britain, only to find themselves in Canada saying, well, what are we doing swearing allegiance to the Queen? Our grandparents fought to kick the monarchy out of whatever country they came from. So we have a really changing face demographically. We have a changing mindset in terms of relevance of the institution and what does it mean to pledge allegiance to the crown? Why do we have to get our laws passed through royal assent? Those types of things are making a difference. And of course, there is the issue of personalities. But I would say again that this is much deeper than just the individual members of the royal family. This is something that also really speaks to the is this something going forward generations and generations from now that still works for us as a nation?
Yeah, it's interesting. Your numbers really show us where Canadians are on the royals. Appreciate this. Shachar Kurl, president of Angus Reid Institute. Thanks for your time this morning.
Thanks, Nick.